Well, good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. Had to pause for a second. I'm not used to being here on Wednesdays, but happy Wednesday, everybody. Nathan Martin sitting in with Steve Maxwell this morning. Al Quartermont taking the week off. Hope he's enjoying some R&R time with the family. But it is the Wednesday of Easter week, and folks are kind of looking forward to, I think, a shortened week. Many people will be off on Friday, including Talkback will not be here Friday morning, but we're here today. And we've got a lot of things to talk about, including some stuff that took place in Baton Rouge yesterday, some nationwide stuff as well. Cassidy Senate race, debate fights, trying to talk about things that are interesting to you. And we would love to have your phone calls on the BOM Talk Line, 318-442-8255. It is a beautiful day. This is the time of the year that people seem to enjoy the most, I think. Well, I don't know if it's spring or fall. Which is your preference, spring or fall?
If I'm on antihistamine, spring, by far.
Spring is beautiful. The symbols of life and things are springing back. A good word for that.
I love Easter, I love the time of year. Everything's blossoming. And, of course, the story behind it for a lot of us is just a great time. Great time to be alive.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we'll be looking forward to some good celebrations coming up this weekend.
What are you going to do on Good Friday with your day off?
Actually, I'm going to be in Mississippi. I'm going to leave from the show Thursday morning after the show's over and head over to go see my grandkids in Mississippi.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yes, we're going to enjoy a little. I'm going to drive over. It's a 6-hour drive, six and a half hour drive. So we'll drive over Thursday, spend Friday with them, then have breakfast Saturday morning and drive home midday Saturday. So it'll be a quick turnaround trip, but
you got the pastor life where you can't take off the whole week.
I can't take off on Sunday for sure. If there's one day a year you can't take off, it would be Easter.
I try and get my dad to come over for the weekend. He's like, well, I got to leave Saturday night. Okay.
Where is he pastoring at?
A little independent Baptist church in Elizabeth. Yeah. I honestly don't know the name of it. It's kind of new. Well, it's a couple of years. I haven't been there yet.
Okay.
I should go. But it is in Elizabeth.
Dad would like you to come.
New Hope or something. Hope something.
As long as it's not hopeless.
No, I think it's Hopewell, but I don't know.
There is a Hopewell Baptist Church out in Center Point, Louisiana, pastored by Ricky Belgard. A lot of people know Ricky on Facebook.
Of course we know.
And he is one of the most uplifting people. I need to get Ricky to call in one day just for the fun of it. He is an uplifting fellow.
Ricky's one of our favorite people in our family.
Oh, cool. Well, that's good to know. Well, the phone line has already lit up, so let's jump over there and see. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
It's some old business. Yesterday, I heard y'all talking right before I got out of the car to FedEx Sam, and he had called in to bemoan people who wear their Christianity on their sleeve, I guess, as it were. I thought of several questions that I wish I could have asked him. Now, first of all, when he talked about people who put it on their business cards, I've known some very godly people. I've never had to have business cards. I've always been a manual laborer. But if I had them, I've known some very godly people who always on the back of their cards put a Bible verse because the Lord had changed their life through the Bibles.
Sure.
And so they knew that the word of the Lord never returns void. And so while some people do, of course, there have always been politicians and people that use their Christianity to gain some kind of advantage in the world. And we decry that and we pray for those people. But there have been other people who have used it, and the stories are endless of people who found a track, found something, that reminded them or brought their mind to thinking about Christ, and the Lord used that in his providence to save them from eternal damnation. And but I would like to have asked him, why does it offend you? What bothers you about it? And right at the end, as I was getting out, it seemed like y'all said something about the schools, about the 10 Commandments in the schools. Am I wrong? Did I miss that?
No, we did.
Yeah, that was brought up, and I think he postulated that they would start teaching a commandment a day or something like that. And we didn't really pursue that thought, but that was brought up.
Okay. Now, I don't think they are. That's not what any of the legislation said, and I doubt it would. But I would wonder, I would like to ask him, what worldview civilized the world? What was the world? What is the world like in areas where the Christian worldview is not predominant? And would he like to live there? And so how do we explain to our children how they got what they got? You know, I mean, we live like kings. I mean, I know we're struggling with affordability and stuff like that, but anyone who has a modicum of understanding of history realize that we have it better than 99.9% of the people that have ever breathed air. And so how did we get that? You know, how did man get from where he was killing each other, stealing from each other, and come into civilization? Because look, when our country was founded, you know what the Muslim countries were doing? They were charging, even England, with the greatest navy in the world, they were paying tribute to the Barbary pirates to get their ships through the Mediterranean Sea. And that's what we're talking about today, again, in Iran. You know, Iran's going to put a $2 million price tag on passing through the Straits of Hormuz. And a lot of the European countries are going to pay it. You know, so things have changed. And if we don't recognize why they changed because of ideas, not because of the invention of guns or now that puts some distance between us and them. But, you know, we have to recognize that. So I would have just like to ask him, why does it bother you? What has Christianity done to you? You know, what has Christianity done for you? And see if he could enumerate that. See if he could crystallize his thoughts enough to put into words what the Christian worldview has done for his life and where it would be were it never to have existed.
So
I think that would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. In fact, I like the idea of a conversation so much. I'm going to go on a limb and ask you, would you be willing to accept a lunch invitation or a coffee invitation to meet with Sam and myself, perhaps Steve,
absolutely.
And just chat a little bit in person?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
That would be awesome.
All right, so I don't know if Sam's listening right now, but I would absolutely love to facilitate that type of conversation because I think face-to-face dialogue would be productive. You know, sometimes because we're on the radio and the way it works, we're talking at each other, but when we get to talk with each other, I think it'd be extremely helpful, and there'd be some learning taking place on all sides. I had a feeling you'd say yes, and so next time Sam calls in, I'll see if I can get his acquiescence, and if so, we'll try to put that together.
Yeah. Or we can just get a 15-minute segment right here on KSYL. I'll approve it right now. I like to listen.
We can bring them both in, and you could sit in the middle microphone and have one on either microphone.
No, I'll just let them go. I'll just let them talk. I'm sure they'll be fine and respectful. They're both very nice people.
They're both very well spoken, very respectful. Absolutely. Well, great questions, Dave, as always. You know, as someone who has had the benefit of traveling quite a bit to many countries, we don't know poverty in America. Mm-hmm. Our people who are on food stamps and on welfare are still living luxurious lives compared to what true poverty looks like when you have literally no idea where your next meal will come from or if you will eat ever again. So you're absolutely right. Our country is extraordinarily blessed.
And be sure and ask him if it would be okay with him if we pray before our meal, if we meet for lunch.
I don't think
he might
he
not
would
like
be
that in a
opposed to
public
that.
place. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate you.
I don't have a problem with like people and their businesses and business cards. Sometimes I even kind of look for it myself. You know, I'm not annoyed by it. And I pretty much agree with Dave right there. But the only thing I don't like is forcing them to schools so we can go about that. I just think it's kind of counterproductive, and I don't know what it's actually going to do. And it opens it up for other things down the future, too. That's my concern.
Well, and my comment about the business card was something that my father-in-law had said based on his business practices, that people that he had run into. And I really do think this boils down to a couple of bad apples spoils the barrel. I really do think that's what happens.
You get that with pastors. You get that with church people.
I was going to say that. It's exactly what I was going to say.
I disappoint myself all the time.
Well, it does happen. Sometimes the biggest disappointment is looking back in the mirror every morning. But I think that probably plays into it. You have one or two bad experiences and they get amplified in your mind. And so then everybody else gets judged and painted with that same brush. Unfortunately, there are people who have used Christianity as a tool for their own ends. And whether it's going to a certain church in town so you can network, or whether it is flying that flag, that Christian fish hopes of gaining more followers. I do know a lot of like you say, and like David said, there are people who have had genuine transformation experiences in their life, and they want to share that. And then there are also those occasional ones that are simply using that as an advertising mechanism. So having discernment, I guess, pays off. And I think that will come in time. Doesn't that usually reveal itself?
You just got to let that brain develop, I guess.
But I think in time you can see who is and who isn't living out what they say they believe.
A lot of churches now too, and we can go down this all day, I guess, but it's such a marketing-based theme as well. It's become that too.
Yeah, there's no doubt that just drive around right now and look at the yard signs inviting you to Easter services. And I'm not knocking any of them.
No.
In fact, I had this thought yesterday. We don't have that, and I thought, what? Why not? If someone is considering they don't go to church anywhere and they're considering, it's Easter, I probably should go to church on Easter, in honor of my mom or in honor of my grandpa or whatever. And so where should I go? And they see a yard sign that invites them. Well, that may be an absolute turnaround for them. But you're right. Marketing is becoming a part of getting the word out. I don't knock it. It's just not what I'm doing.
I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, curious. And I was thinking more tomorrow I might ask it because tomorrow will be the last day.
Is Dave gone?
Yeah, he's gone. He hung up.
Okay.
Tomorrow will be the last show that we have this week. But curious about what church events people have. I know some people will have Maundy Thursday services. Some people will have Good Friday services. I've participated in the past in some churches who have done like the Seven Sayings of the Cross noonday services on Friday. And so just curious if anybody has something like that going on in your church you want to invite people to, or if you want to invite people to your Easter event, feel free to give us a phone call, 318-442-8255. A few years ago, I attended I've done this more than once. There are some churches, some of the larger churches will have a Saturday evening service. Mm-hmm. And I've gone to those services and been very blessed because it just gave me the opportunity to not have to lead anything and truly just be a part of the worship experience. So
I think there's a bunch of those going on.
I'll be driving back from Mississippi this particular time, so I won't be able to make one unless we get back in time. But I have really enjoyed the one comes to mind, Journey Church, a couple of years ago, just had beautiful service. It was only about an hour long, and it truly was a heartfelt experience for me and my family just to get to sit there. And I will say, just not having to be responsible for anything and getting to worship was wonderful.
Oh, yeah. As a pastor's kid, that's what my dad would always say.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's the bottom of the hour. We got to hit the Bloomberg News. We'll come back. More chat and your conversation on Talkback.
We're going to talk about theology till y'all make us stop.
Yeah, please make us stop.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stock futures pointing to a higher open on Wall Street today following yesterday's huge rally. All 3 major indexes surging, with the S&P adding 2.9%, its best day since May. And oil prices are falling on hopes that this war in Iran will end soon. Crude's now hovering around $101 a barrel. We should get U.S. retail sales numbers from the Commerce Department later today. February sales are forecasted to be up about 0.6% after brutal winter weather crimped activity in January. Eli Lilly's hoping to crack one of the hardest health challenges of our time, sleep disorders. Lilly's buying Centessa Pharmaceuticals, a biotech company that's developing medicines to treat narcolepsy and other disorders that keep people from feeling fully alert or awake during the day. The $7.8 billion deal is just shy of Lilly's largest acquisition ever. And it may be April Fool's, but this is no joke. Dunkin's giving away free coffee today, any size, hot or iced. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
Well, good morning. Possibly some fog again to start us out this morning. That'll burn off quickly. Going to start out with some clouds, gradually becoming sunny. Now, afternoon highs about 87. Going to be a windy day as well. Winds gusting as high as 20 out of the south. And we could see an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, about a 30% chance of that. Increasing clouds tonight down to 67, then a 60% chance of afternoon showers on Thursday. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Good morning. Welcome back. It is Wednesday, the first day of April, and that's not an April Fool's joke to you. It is April Fool's Day, so be careful when anybody says anything to you today. You might want to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I did my own. I just felt like it was the year for an April Fool's, but I made it clear it was an April Fool's, so you don't have to look for the April Fool part.
So
but anyway, go to my Facebook page to find out.
Okay, I'm going there right now.
Hey, speaking of church, if you were at, or if you've heard or saw fire trucks downtown Alexandria yesterday around lunch, they had the Chrism Mass at the St. Xavier Cathedral for the Diocese of Alexandria. And at the end of the Mass, I was shooting a story for it. The fire alarm went off, said, "Everyone evacuate. This is an emergency." And everyone was like, okay. And just kind of stood there, and then the fire truck showed up. I don't know if someone bumped the fire alarm or something, but everything's okay. But it was kind of an interesting situation. The cathedral was packed with local parishioners as well as all 8 Catholic schools. So a great event there for the annual Chrism Mass.
You know, that's not being a Catholic. That's new to me. So, and I noticed your story. You commented it's one of the biggest events of the year in the Catholic Church, like calendar or cycle of events. All the priests were there. That's a pretty big deal. All there for that cause. And it is. I saw it was the like the blessing of the oil, the anointing oil
for sacraments.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what they were doing. And like a renewal of mission and faith for all the priests as well, and any new ones that were coming aboard. They kind of brought them in. So big event. So I mean, that's 13 parishes I think in the diocese.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I saw priests from Oakdale and all the way up to Columbia, and we haven't talked about this yet, but over in Columbia, Louisiana, which is in the Diocese of Alexandria, they did have a horrible situation. I think it's St. Joseph Church there was vandalized and burned.
Oh.
Yeah, but they did arrest 2 suspects in the case. You could see that. The arrest, I think it's on the, I think KLB has something and some other ones have some information on that. But it was a horrible situation. You can see the pictures on my page too of the church. It's pretty bad.
It is so sad. Yeah. My goodness. Well, so I did find your April Fool's joke post. I'm not sure why you use pink. You like pink. You've been using pink. It should have been
purple.
Oh, is it purple? It's my eyes maybe just be old.
It's pink, purple,
pink,
magenta.
Purple.
I don't know.
There we go. Magenta is the right term. Absolutely. You got 45 laughs and 4 comments. But I got a comment. This one comment. Of course, somebody said at least it's not another Mexican restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Or Dollar General. But this one I don't fully get. It said glad that's. Well, let me back up. Your post says breaking. Olive Garden to open 4 more locations next to the Alexandria traffic circle. ... A bunch more dots. April Fool's got that out of the way. Okay, so cute, very nice, well done, well played, sir. And then someone says, glad that's not true, LOL. Definitely don't need any more, especially if they're as bad as the one we already have. So my question is, the one we already have, are they talking about the Olive Garden or are they talking about the traffic circle?
Yeah, that's a good question. We'll go with the traffic circle. Let's hope for that.
I hope that's what they meant, is the traffic circle. And I will notice, though, you have shown your youthfulness again, Stephen. Yet once again, you've shown your youthfulness.
What happened?
You said the traffic circle, not the South traffic circle.
Well, I always say, I always say South traffic circle. And people are like, there's only one.
You acquiesce.
There used to be a North traffic circle in 1912. I was like,
it
okay.
wasn't that long ago.
80s? 90s?
No, my goodness. It was there until, I'd say, the late 90s, early 2000s.
That's like 30 years ago.
Well, that's true. I guess you're right. Oh, my goodness. I was listening to a report this morning coming in, the Wright report. He made a comment about how he had joined the CIA around the time of 9/11. And then he goes on. He says, yeah, that was 25 years ago.
Crazy, isn't it?
Like, it really slapped me in the face that literally in 9/11, it's 25 years ago.
I remember that day very well. So
how old were you?
I'm old too. I was like 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
7 or 8.
Were you in school?
Mm-hmm. I remember on the overcom or whatever they call it, intercom, they were like, "Please pray for our country. We've just been attacked." And I'm like in 3rd grade.
Oh my goodness.
So we were like, "Well, what the heck?" You're not scared, but you're like, "Okay, you know."
Yeah.
So we ended up watching. I was in the library, and we ended up going back to the classroom and pretty much watched TV all day. I remember what I ate that day too at home. My mom had on Fox News, and I was just sitting there eating spaghetti, watching all the coverage, not really knowing what.
Where were you living at the time?
Grant, Pitkin area.
Yeah. It is hard to believe, though. That's 25 years ago. It's hard to believe anything. I guess as you get older, I turned 61, and everything has flown by much more quickly. And you hear that from older folks. And, I guess I'm now the age I can tell you young whippersnappers like you, just enjoy it while it lasts.
No, I bet.
I'm going to keep my teeth in, though, while I say it.
That's right. Time flies when you're us.
Yes, that's right. Hey, I noticed yesterday you walked outside and took a video of Texas Avenue.
Oh, I was doing a story on the inspection stickers, just getting video
You were looking for
vehicles.
inspection stickers.
Testing to see how many of you actually follow the law out there, and it's not looking good.
I'm glad you didn't. Well, mine's not expired, but for a second there, I thought that was my car you just took a picture of. That was a blue car. So
no, it was the station.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that scared me just there for a moment, but that's. Have you gotten much feedback on that? As I look at the comments, you had 138 comments, so people seem
138 comments. Wow, I didn't even see. Sometimes I don't even look at the comments just because it's.
I can't imagine.
Kind of ruins your mind, I guess.
Facebook.
And sometimes you get fed up with looking at social media. Golly, it does have 138 comments.
I told you.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a very hot topic. They don't like the QR codes, it looks like, because of the cameras and stuff, whatever that means.
So, yeah, this person comments, this is bad. They're not eliminating the inspection sticker. They're replacing it with a QR code so that flock cameras can read it and track you. And I'm not sure what a flock camera is.
Oh, here's an interesting comment from Sherman's Glass. It says, as a motor vehicle inspection station owner, I'll be honest, if they go away, it'll cost me money. But even with that on the line, I think it's worth saying the current system just isn't effective at keeping unsafe vehicles off the road. There it is.
Well, and you made the comment yesterday that your car is safe for the 15 minutes it's in the inspection station.
Yes.
But, on the flip side, and I was commenting that I could see the value of it back in the 70s and 80s when so many homemade jalopies were on the road and so many caricatures of vehicles were being made. But today, my vehicle is 11 years old. It's not a new vehicle, and it has so many safety features built into it. It lets me know when a tail light is out. It lets me know when a tire pressure is low. It tells me which tire is low. Tells me if I have an electrical system. It lets me know what's going on with my vehicle. So in that regard, I don't know that it's as necessary.
We're supposed to be the land of the free over here in Louisiana. Like, come on.
So I had to look up flock safety cameras based on what the comments are made. And these are solar-powered, high-definition, automated license plate recognition systems. And now that I see that, I know that they are used around town. It literally says they capture vehicle make, color, license plate. Get this, unique features like dents and stickers in real time, even at 100 miles an hour. And they work using vehicle fingerprint technology. I do know that there are several around the area, and I can tell you that I've been told by police officers and chiefs that they have been used successfully in capturing people who there were bolos out from other parts of the state. Driving through town.
Or missing kids.
Absolutely. Yeah. Pineville police busted a ATM ring from South Louisiana. One of the vehicles that had been captured on the camera was fed into that system, and it was identified, tagged. So you think you're 100 miles away from where you've been doing your crime. You think you're safe, and next thing you know, you get pulled over. You think, okay, I was speeding, no big deal. No, the flock camera identified you, tagged you, put the notice out. Next thing you know, you're in jail.
You just opened up a can of worms this morning.
Did I?
Yeah, you know how that goes. When I was in Shreveport as a news anchor, one of the biggest things we always talked about was the speed cameras across the city. The biggest topic.
Sure.
And people hated it.
Well, I'll tell you, on the council in Pineville, we looked into them. We actually had a company come and give us a demonstration.
Was it Blue Line Solution?
No, it was red something. I think they were out of Australia.
The red, not the blue.
Yeah, I think they were out of Australia. And we looked at their system, and on the first pitch, it seems like a great idea because, the ones that they did would not have been hidden in any way. There would have been a signage that told you, there'd been ample warning. So if you got tagged with a ticket, you deserved it because you literally were speeding when you knew that there was cameras there. But it was still a civil fine. It wasn't criminal, and it just opened up too many questions. So the council we never even brought it to the council for a vote.
You made a great decision because you probably would have been hated.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, because Alan Seabaugh, state senator, he was really big with the state legislature on removing them. People hated him. They said it infringed their rights. They were inaccurate. And there was a lot of claims like, well, we don't have to pay you.
What's that movie? Was it Minority Report or that movie, I think with Tom Cruise in it, where they had these things that could predict crimes and you would be arrested based on a crime you were going to predict? Did you ever see that?
I didn't see that one.
Well, I think it was Tom Cruise, but the idea was that there was this technology developed that would predict a crime before it took place, and then you would be arrested for that, and then the crime wouldn't happen. But because it was in your intent and you were about to do it, you would have been arrested. And so the whole premise was how that system was flawed. Well, that's how this system could demonstrate. Well, I am late for the break. I need to stop talking and pay some bills. We'll be back with more conversation.
I have something to say.
I want to come back to what you've got to say. Don't forget.
I will. I think I already did.
KSYL.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, inviting you to help keep Louisiana beautiful. Love the Boot Week, Louisiana's largest cleanup effort, is back April 18th to the 26th. This year, for America's 250th birthday, we're challenging volunteers to pick up 250 pieces of litter in their community. We've made real progress, but there's more work to do. Get a group together and register. For more information, visit lovetheboot.org.
Blended families, bonus children, and co-parenting can bring amazing experiences, but it can also be overwhelming and complicate your estate plan. How can families navigate the process when entering into this wonderful journey? I'm George Fine with Fine Legal Services. When it comes to your family's questions, our team can make planning for the future seamless and transparent. Call your Alexandria, Louisiana attorneys, George Fine and Jeremy Cedars, at 318-767-2226 to learn more, or visit fine-lawyers.com.
LSBA number LA2316294.
The Greenhouse presents Help Save Lives. According to the ASPCA in the United States, millions of healthy dogs and cats are euthanized each year. Unfortunately, that's what happens to pets who are born unwanted. You can stop these deaths by preventing unwanted pregnancies. Have your pets spayed or neutered. And if price is an issue, Magnolia Spay and Neuter on Nelson Street here in Alexandria is Central Louisiana's only low-cost spay-neuter clinic.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talkback.
Welcome back. We're going to find out if Stephen has a good memory or not. Obviously, I have a bad memory. I called you Steve.
Well, I'm going to be Steve when I turn 40. So
okay.
The last 7 years
Maxwell.
on this.
So tell us, you had something to think about flock cameras?
Well, no, you're talking about, like, I guess, Minority Report, where they can try and assume, or they can know what crime you would commit. And it was interesting, whenever Alexandria administration was talking about hiring new officers and the tests that I had the hiccups now. The tests they have to go through, I think they call it the Matrix, one of the more rigorous ones for APD, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
They can, give you this test, and they say they can determine the likelihood of you committing, a sexual assault or breaking the rules with high probability. And I was like, man, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So if you flag on that, unless there's, extenuating circumstances, I think maybe something in your background, like military, I don't know. They can kind of flag and see what you'd be more likely to do. I know you know more about that, probably.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it because, I've never gone through it, but I do know about the process, the matrix. I know that if a person fails that test, the risk management insurance company that most municipalities use to insure their police departments will not insure that officer. And so it's a guaranteed, you can still hire them. You just got to find insurance someplace else. Well, most municipalities are not going to go through that headache. And so it's seemingly, and you do highlight there are some anomalies. Military service receives a certain type of view, but it's crazy what can be done. I looked it up. The movie was Minority Report 2002. Get this, directed by Steven Spielberg and starred Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise was a officer in what was called the pre-crime division. And so he would go arrest people based on crimes that they were planning to commit until he was arrested for committing a murder that he hadn't committed yet. So
y'all keep venting to artificial intelligence on your phones. It's going to come after you one day and report you to the pre-crime division.
I'm a little worried about that. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning. You want to talk back with Stephen and Nathan?
Good morning.
Hello there.
Good morning.
Election's coming up pretty soon. We need to look at the Democrat agenda. Number one, they're for gun control. Number two, unlimited abortion up to 9 months. They support gay rights, transgender rights. They want biological males to compete against females, be in their restrooms and their lockers. And they support illegal immigration. Those are their agenda items, people. When you go in the booth, think about their agenda items. Thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, thank you for your call. Appreciate that. That probably will be coming more into play in the fall, whereas right now in the spring, it's going to be what do they call the
midterms?
No. In the spring, they have the nominations where they get their candidate. There's another term. I can't think of what that term is. Primaries, that's the word. Closed primary. Yeah. And so if you are of the persuasion that you, the caller, I believe, a very conservative person would be, chances are you're going to be voting in the Republican primary. So that won't matter because there will not be a Democrat on your ballot. But in the fall, it will be an open election, the general election. And that is where certainly considering where you stand on matters and where those candidates stand on matters becomes critical.
I mean, unless you're the mayor of New Orleans, the Democrat Party in Louisiana is pretty much non-existent for the most part.
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you for your call. Appreciate that. I did notice
from a national level, not so much.
I was looking at the candidates coming up, and the Democrats, I think, didn't even, or did they put up somebody in the 6th district? Maybe they did, but I didn't recognize who they were.
Cleo.
Well, he's in the 5th district, right?
6th.
So, he's 6th?
Yeah.
Okay, I got
5th was Letlow.
I got the numbers backwards then. Okay. So obviously he's their anointed one and nobody would run against him. So there won't even be a primary election there. But he makes a good point. There was an interesting story that came out yesterday. Not a story. Let me back up. It was a letter or an email from Julia Letlow's campaign about Bill Cassidy, basically essentially claiming that he was a Democrat until he was in his 40s and only changed when Louisiana politics changed. And saying that they go back and cite, his support of Dukakis and all, a lot of different folks in the.
But that was a lot of Louisiana politicians now.
Well,
Kennedy was a Democrat.
That was the same point. I'm reading Kennedy's book right now, and he acknowledges that he was a Democrat and that he felt like when
my conservative grandparents were Democrats.
Yeah. Oh, my grandmother, absolutely. She was so upset with me when I registered as a Republican at 18 years old. But she was very upset. But, very extremely conservative. But it does go to show how these parties will switch. I mean, it's really, so I think the caller's point is right. You need to know what your ideals are, what your values and your convictions are, and then pay attention to the candidates, see if they line up.
And I think at the end of the day, when you're talking about like a presidential or maybe even the midterm elections, people, I think for the most part, because not everyone's really involved like we are on the show, I said it time and time again, they're just going to worry about how the economy is doing and probably vote off that. And I contend that's why Donald Trump won the election in 2024. The economy wasn't going in the right direction, and it was good last time he was president. And they're like, man, we're going to give him another shot.
I know we got to take a break, but my question would be, if you're Trump, are you concerned right now about these midterm elections? Because the way the economy is going with gas prices nationally over $4 a gallon and consumer confidence seeming to be taking a hit, what do you do? How do you turn that around? Even though we're still in March and the elections aren't until the fall, is there enough time to change the trajectory to maintain your party's majority in the two houses?
I think it's tough, even if you are doing a good job, because midterms tend to go against the party in office. So I think it's going to be a tough hill to climb. And we're already kind of seeing some of the trends across the nation. We don't know if that's going to hold up, but we've already seen some Democrats flip some seats and the like. So
yeah, and some odd, even President Trump's home seat in Florida just flipped. So there's a Democrat representing his house in Mar-a-Lago.
Yep. We have to take a break.
We do have to
take
a break.
I got more coming up.
All right, back with that. And a call after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter. At The Clinics, your health is our priority. Whether it's a routine checkup or ongoing care, we are here for you. Dr. Noah Miller, our newest family medicine physician, along with 5 other dedicated family physicians, are now accepting new patients. Schedule your appointment today. And remember, if you're ever admitted to the hospital, our doctors will see you there too. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The Clinics, 1587 North Bolton, 445-9823, online at theclinics.us.
The world once needed lots of paper made right here in central Louisiana. Now we're making a comeback with clean methanol. Beaver Lake Renewable Energy will turn Louisiana wood into fuel, creating hundreds of direct and indirect jobs and giving loggers a steady market again. It's not just a plant, it's a promise to our land, our people, and our future. Visit beaverlakerenewable.com and find out how we're putting central Louisiana back on the map.
That's right, Alexandria. Ready for the biggest crawfish boil in Cenla? Saturday, April 11th at Spirits, we're bringing the heat with live music from Alligator Blue, delicious crawfish from Hothead, and specialty brews from Huckleberry Brewing. Tickets are selling fast. $50 gets you 4 pounds of mud bugs and all the fixins. Or grab a $20 general admission ticket and come soak up the fun. Things kick off at 3 this Saturday at Spirits on Texas Avenue. Get tickets now at spiritsublot.com and get ready for a weekend of mud bugs and music.
For over a decade, University View Academy has provided a proven K-12 online education experience for families across Louisiana.
We decided to give it a try for 3rd and 8th grade, and we have never looked back. It has been such a blessing for our family.
UVA is a wonderful school. The communication with the teachers are absolutely great. I believe at the end you will know that you've chosen the right school for your child.
Learn more and enroll at universityview.academy/radio.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal, book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
America, look around. Everywhere you go, prices are still high, rates have been whipsawing markets, and the debt and spending don't exactly scream stability. Experts say diversifying with intention is the #1 secret account that all American smart money uses to hedge against instability. Monetary Gold has been around since 2000, witnessing multiple economic setbacks. If you call now, Monetary Gold will cover up to a lifetime of your IRA fees on qualified accounts. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talk back.
All right, welcome back to Talk Back. We're enjoying the conversation, especially when you call in like this caller. Good morning, caller. You're on Talk Back with Stephen and Nathan.
Hello?
Oh, I hear you. But you've got a lot of static with you.
Bad connection.
Okay, try that again. There was a lot of shh going on there. So we definitely want to hear your call. 318. What is going on? My microphone, the needle's not even moving.
Uh-oh.
All right, let's try.
Is mine moving?
Good morning. You're on Talk Back with Stephen and Nathan.
Well, I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear Stephen?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can barely hear your colleague.
Yeah, there's something up with my microphone. I've been told that more than once.
You want this one?
No, I'm making an adjustment down here below.
You can talk to me while Nathan fixes this. What you got?
Well, sometimes, fellas, people do what they feel is right, regardless of whether or not it's politically expedient. And I would argue that Mr. Trump is doing what he believes is right.
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean that's why any of us do what we do, right? To your point.
I would hope. But I would also mention that the carbon sequestration activity yesterday in the Capitol, eminent domain, it strikes me that those who voted for the bill to go forward can now say safely that they tried. We did what our constituents asked us to do, but those mean old other people didn't.
Well, and we actually had planned to bring this up at the top of the next hour. Interesting, as you pointed out, someone made a comment, kind of a list of all the no votes in the parishes they represent. That was East Baton Rouge. I was a little surprised by the representative from Vidalia, Catahoula, Concordia, East Carroll, Franklin, Madison, Tensall parishes. But then you have Lafayette Parish, Iberia, Terrebonne, Jefferson, Lafourche. So a lot of those that are really either heavy oil or pipeline heavy parishes or perhaps not affected, like West Baton Rouge and West Feliciana, Point Tropez. They're not affected by this like folks here in Central and West Louisiana are. So very interesting. I don't know if you can hear the music, but that means that we're about to wrap it up. You got about 20 seconds.
Yeah, well, again, maybe Mr. Trump doesn't care if he loses the House and the Senate. He's done what he feels is correct.
Well said. All right. That's a good perspective, and appreciate you sharing that. As always, thanks for your call. Hopefully my mic has repaired itself. I think there's something going on.
It could be detrimental for the agenda, though, without it. So, without Congress.
We'll be back with Hour 2 after this.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenlaw Broadcasting.
AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3, HD3, Alexandria.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump is about to head to the Supreme Court, where he'll become the first president in modern history to attend a hearing next hour, this one on his bid to end birthright citizenship. His lawyers will argue the 14th Amendment is outdated.
It wasn't for billionaires bringing people in or family in. It was for the children of slaves.
Correspondent Jan Crawford is at the court.
President Trump, in that executive order, is really trying to redefine how we have long thought about what it means to be a citizen in this country, which, of course, is if you're born on U.S. soil, you are a U.S. citizen. And in that executive order, he said, no, we're going to say that if you're born to people who are here illegally or temporarily, then you're not a citizen.
Mr. Trump is expected to sit in the public section of the court facing the justices, 3 of whom he appointed. The president expected to make the case for exiting the Iran war in 2 to 3 weeks when he addresses the nation tonight, and he's just announced Iran's president has asked for a ceasefire. An update from CBS's Holly Williams in Tel Aviv.
The U.S. says it's hit over 11,000 targets alone in Iran. Secretary of State Marco Rubio claimed that Iran's Navy and Air Force are, quote, largely destroyed. Israel's military told us 70% of Iran's ballistic missile launches have now been neutralized and that Iran is no longer producing ballistic missiles.
NASA's begun fueling Artemis 2's gas tanks for a milestone trip to the far side of the moon and back. Correspondent Peter King from Kennedy Space Center.
The 4 astronauts will be the first to fly aboard the giant Space Launch System rocket, and the Orion spacecraft. Taking them to the moon takes risks to another level. Commander Reed Weissman.
We know we have to take risk. If we weren't willing to take risk, we'd never leave the planet.
Mission Specialist Christina Cook agrees.
I just can't help but think the words, "We chose to do this."
Blastoff scheduled for this evening. A tugboat captain in Miami has been charged with manslaughter in a crash last year that killed 3 girls from a sailing camp. CBS's Jim Krasula.
Yusil Insua faces up to 10 years in prison. He's accused of operating a tugboat, pushing a barge filled with debris with obstructed visibility and without required lookout personnel.
Prosecutors say he was on his cell phone when the boats collided. Thank goodness for siblings. New study in the British Medical Journal finds they can help you cope with the loss of a parent once you're a grown-up, and the more brothers and sisters you have, the less likely you'll be to turn to meds for help. Dow futures are up to 18. This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-507-9701. That's 800-507-9701. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
A Texas megachurch founder has been released from prison in Oklahoma after serving time for abusing a woman in the 1980s.
64-year-old Robert Preston Morris served 6 months behind bars after pleading guilty last year to 5 counts of lewd or indecent acts with a child. Under the agreement, he received a 10-year suspended sentence and must register as a sex offender. Prosecutors say the abuse began in 1982 when the victim was 12 and Morris was a traveling evangelist. Until 2 years ago, Morris was the senior pastor of Gateway Church in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburb of Southlake, one of the nation's largest megachurches. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Dorothy and her friends didn't account for these big cats.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Saudi Arabia's government planning to bring a couple of the world's rarest oversized kitties to the Smithsonian National Zoo in Washington. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm John Burns. Louisiana is the most stressed state in the country. That's according to a new study by WalletHub, which looked at work, money, family, and health and safety related stressors. WalletHub analyst Chip Lupo says the financial stress is due in part to the higher interest rates we pay compared to those in other states because our median credit score ranks close to the bottom.
Second lowest median credit score at 675. A good credit score is considered between 700 and 749, 750, and up is excellent.
Former Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries Secretary Jack Montesette faces up to 5 years in prison for participating in a kickback scheme. Federal prosecutors say the 78-year-old used his position as secretary to steer a state contract to a company called DGL-1 in exchange for 1/3 of the profit. FBI Special Agent in charge, Jonathan Tapp.
Mr. Montesette becomes the third such public servant caught up in a conspiracy to steal money from the people of this great state.
LRN. Legislation that increases the penalties against minors for calling in fake bomb threats receives pushback. Jeff Palermo reports Democratic lawmakers are concerned the measure could also result in the child's parents being fined up to $5,000.
Lake Charles Representative Wilford Carter.
Do you know anywhere else in the law where the parent is held liable for the acts of a child when the parent done nothing, didn't fail to supervise?
Pineville Representative Mike Johnson says it would be up to the court's discretion to determine if the child's parent should be fined. But the main point of the legislation, he says, is to reduce the number of fake bomb threats disrupting schools and communities.
To try to find a way to deter this. What we're doing isn't working.
The House passed the measure and it heads to the Senate for more discussion. I'm Jeff Palermo.
The FBI yesterday announcing 5 drug busts across Louisiana, resulting in the seizure of hundreds of pounds of narcotics linked to Mexican cartels. In one case, more than 300 pounds of meth was confiscated after 2 Mexican nationals were arrested on the interstate in Breaux Bridge while towing an ice cream machine. LRN.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law.
Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
Good morning. Possibly some fog again to start us out this morning. That'll burn off quickly. Going to start out with some clouds, gradually becoming sunny. Now, afternoon highs about 87. Going to be a windy day as well. Winds gusting as high as 20 out of the south. And we could see an afternoon shower, a thunderstorm, about a 30% chance of that. Increasing clouds tonight down to 67, then a 60% chance of afternoon showers on Thursday. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Well, good morning and welcome back to Talkback. Hopefully we've got the mic situation squared away, thanks to Rick Joyce, who stepped in and pointed out some settings that could be updated. Hopefully you can hear me as well. Apparently it happened right around the time that last caller came in. It really affected my mic 1. So nevertheless, that has been taken care of, and we would love to hear from you this morning on Talkback. Give us a call, 318-442-8255 is the BOM talk line number. I want to bring up a topic that we chatted about yesterday because it was coming up, and then it ended up happening. The hearing took place yesterday in the National Natural Resources Committee.
We do have breaking news.
Okay. Well, then let me be
No, I'm sorry. I think it's a big enough deal to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Go right
Apparently,
ahead.
President Trump has said that Iran has asked the U.S. for a ceasefire.
Oh, that is huge news.
Yes. Iran's new regime president, much less radicalized, far more intelligent than his predecessors, has just asked the U.S. for America for a ceasefire. We will consider when Hormuz Strait is open, free, and clear. Until then, we are blasting Iran into oblivion, or as they say, back to the Stone Ages. President DJT.
Okay. Well, that is breaking news. Of course, earlier I was going to comment and didn't get around to it that tonight President Trump will be addressing the nation at 8 o'clock our time, I believe it is, to talk about America's war in Iran and talk about the status of that. So this news coming about 12 hours in advance, 11, 12 hours in advance of his nationwide speech tonight. It's interesting to hear that Iran, who's been saying we've not been negotiating, that's where they've been in a formal line, apparently today now saying no mas, tapping out.
Yeah, we shall see.
It could be.
A lot of these things are kind of up and down, but we shall see.
Yeah, it could be. Thousands of U.S. soldiers have been arriving in the Middle East. U.S. aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush is on its way to Middle East, along with 3 destroyers. That carrier strike group has more than 6,000 sailors a part of that group. So there is quite a bit of external pressure being applied to Iran. Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the UK will be hosting an international diplomatic conference this week on how to open up the Strait of Hormuz. And 35 countries supposedly have signed a statement committing to work together to restore security to that key oil transport route. So some key information there. Thank you for that. All we needed is some breaking news from Stephen Maxwell.
Breaking from the news center.
There you go. The other point, though, that we were talking about was the Natural Resources Committee hearing yesterday. 4.5 hours long is how long the committee meeting lasted to hear conversation, argument, debate, discussion, questions about HB 7, which would have limited the use of eminent domain for pipelines, specifically with the carbon capture issue. Louisiana Representative Mike Johnson, House Speaker Pro Tem, led that effort, sat at the table for about 2 hours, testifying, taking questions, answering before then other interested parties came to the table and made their comments. And at the end of the day, when it was all said and done, it was, I think, a 12-7 vote, if I recall, that ended up failing. And so on the official recording of it, in the minutes, it says it was involuntarily deferred, which means it was defeated. A lot of times a person bringing a bill might say, well, look, I'm going to voluntarily defer this and try to bring it back at a later date. But I think the writing was on the wall. It was not going to get past that Natural Resources Committee. And so we'll be looking to hear more. I know Moon Griffon has already stated he's going to be talking quite a bit about that in the show that immediately follows this one. And there will be different speakers on that show to talk about their perspectives. I think that will be an interesting conversation. Senator or Treasurer John Fleming will be a guest on the Moon Griffon show. And I tell you what, he has made it his perspective and his point of view that there should be no carbon capture. And there are some other comments. Rodney Shammerhorn, Danny McCormick have been outspoken against CCS, but apparently not enough clout down there in Baton Rouge to bring HB7 across the finish line successfully.
I thought this is the one that might have a chance of passing.
Right.
And apparently not.
The only other one that I say might would be the Rapides Parish bill that gives the power just to Rapides Parish to vote, because a lot of times those are considered to be local bills, but with the interest on this nation statewide, I don't know that even that one has a chance.
I thought that one had a zero chance, in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah.
This one, I agree with you. I thought it had the best shot because even listening to, I didn't listen to 4.5 hours of conversation, but even fast forwarding and picking pieces, there were people who voted to kill the bill who agreed they don't like eminent domain, but they feel like it's a necessary tool for economic development. And there are some who say it's not about jobs, it's not about economic development, it's about government shoving things down your throat. So on the other hand, you have the industry side that are saying, look, this is a key tool that has never been used for carbon capture and sequestration, and they desire not to have to use it. But their point would be, imagine you've got 99 landowners who've all agreed, and there's one holdout that would stop the whole thing. There should be a reasonable approach to that. Well, whether going to court with eminent domain is reasonable or not, I'll leave that up to the listeners to decide. So,
yeah, I mean, we've talked about this nonstop, and there's a lot of aspects to this. There's more bills to be had, but it's something that it looks like the governor and his administration want to push through. And there's discussions about the White House and what they think, or if they even care. So it's been a lot, but it looks like the governor wants these projects to move forward.
Yeah, I appreciate the intent, the title. The Louisiana Landowner Protection Act failed 12-7 yesterday in committee, and I don't know what will happen next. I know you reached out to try to get some legislators to come on, and of course they're super busy right now.
We might get one tomorrow.
Hopefully that will work out. So that's what we're reporting today, and if you have any thoughts about that, I do think calls to your appropriate representatives would be of interest to them, as they'd like to hear your perspective, both sides, pro and con. They definitely want to hear both sides of people's perspectives. So are you following the Artemis 2 mission to the moon?
No, I don't even know what's going on.
So apparently the launch window opens tonight, and it's the best opportunity for human beings to get out to the moon. And NASA has gotten the go for tanking the rockets, and supposedly the launch will take place sometime later today. The launch window opens at around 5:30 this afternoon. There's a 2-hour window when the conditions are right. There's an 80% chance of favorable weather to launch the Artemis 2 rocket. And there's a launch window that runs from April 1st to April 6th. So it could go any one of those days as long as everything works well. If they don't launch by the 6th, then the next launch window is April the 30th. And it's the last chance to launch the rocket on time, as the legislation said it should happen no later than April 30th. So hopefully they'll get that off, and I'd love to see it happen tonight. They're actually filling the tank, so that means that they're feeling good about it.
Would you take a space flight if it was free?
I don't think so.
Yeah, me neither.
No, I'm adventurous, but I think my claustrophobia would kick in.
Yeah.
Even though you'd be in the immenseness of space, being trapped to a rocket, I don't think so.
Whenever they put the celebrities up there, was it the Blue Origin or whoever it was,
yeah.
and they brought up the Today Show host and some actors and singers and stuff, I probably would have passed on it.
Yeah, no, that's not me. So
not my cup of tea.
Well, interesting. They'll be wearing those orange suits that are kind of made popular in movies. Yeah, it'll be, again, this is the first mission to the moon since 1972.
Wow.
The astronauts are Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen. And those bright orange suits are pretty striking. They look pretty sharp.
Why has it been so long?
We've turned our attention to other things, I guess, is what's going on there. We've been focusing on sending rovers to Mars and exploring, putting the Hubble telescopes out there. So I think it just really wasn't a political urgency like when President Kennedy was at 62, 63, said, we're going to do this not because it's easy, but because it's hard. And that was also part of the Cold War and trying to prove that we were better than the Russians. So once we won that race, there really wasn't an emphasis on that. And the interest became more about low Earth orbit things, satellites, space shuttle, International Space Station, all the attention and money went to that. I mean, NASA only has so much money. I mean, they have a lot of it, but eventually they have to set their own priorities. This is my guess. What do you think it is?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I just can't believe it's been that long. I would have sworn they went back since then.
You would think. It's been 50 years, but for whatever reason, we've chosen not to.
Maybe we could live on the moon before we're dead.
Well, Elon wants us to live on Mars.
I heard that.
Sounds crazy to me. I mean, that's a lot further away.
Looks like an ugly desert.
It's like let's move to Australia instead of moving to Texas.
I feel like it'll depress me. It looks very overcast and very barren.
Yeah.
I don't want to live in an overcast area.
There are too many horrible movies about being lost in space or the lone survivor of a whatever. And yeah, I couldn't.
Well, my favorite books growing up were Edgar Rice Burroughs, The Princess of Mars, all the Mars books.
Really?
He's the guy who wrote Tarzan in the 1800s.
I know the Tarzan.
He wrote a Mars and Venus series. They're really good. John Carter.
You turned me on something I didn't know about. Hey, we've got to take a break. We got a phone call. Please, caller, stick around because we want to get to your call as soon as we come back from this break.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-566-3062. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-566-3062. That's 800-566-3062. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Most airlines now serve water to passengers in plastic bottles.
ending the debate about whether the water on planes was fit to drink. But a new study finds the water for tea and coffee is still questionable, and most surprisingly, don't wash your hands in a plane's lavatory. From America's #1 travel radio show, this is your Arm World Travel Minute. I'm Rudy Maxa. A new study by the Center for Food as Medicine and Longevity found that water quality on planes varies widely. I'll tell you the airlines with the best and worst report cards in a moment. Planes carry water in big metal vats, and how sterile those vats are is an open question. But based on tests and reporting by the airlines themselves, that water can contain E. coli and coliform bacteria at times, which is why even washing your hands with it can be problematical. Delta, Frontier, and Alaska got the best grade for water purity. American Airlines came in lowest of the major carriers. Dr. Charles Platkin, who oversaw the study, suggests bringing your own coffee or tea aboard as in-flight water isn't boiled sufficiently. And use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, not the sink, in lavatories. More travel info at armworldtravel.com.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talk Back.
All right, welcome back to Talk Back. And as promised, we're going to go to the phone lines. Good morning. You're on Talk Back with Stephen and Nathan.
So the reason we haven't been back to the moon is there's no economic payoff.
Okay.
It's not like there's some natural resource up there that we can use. The entire space program was just a payoff to the southern states for supporting Kennedy. That's why you have Cape Canaveral in Florida. That's why you have NASA in Houston. That's why you have Huntsville, Alabama as a big place. That's why you have the Stennis Space Center in Mississippi. It was all just we didn't accomplish anything. By the way, this mission is not to the moon. It's called a near moon mission.
Yeah,
it's just going to orbit around the moon. Something we've been doing since the early 60s. That quote you reference is from Kennedy's inauguration speech in 1961, where he said, "We pledged to put a man on the moon before the end of the decade," is the way he pronounced it.
Okay.
So we're going back. We're going back in time to do something we've already done. It is absolutely no benefit to our economy except for a very, very small portion of it. I mean, the only thing we got out of the space program really was Tang and Velcro. Everything else was done in the private sector.
Well, that's fascinating. So you're saying
you're still alive. We were worried about you.
I've been lobbying on behalf of carbon capture sequestration. It looks like my side won.
Oh my goodness. I love you. I just your perspective and your take on things is awesome to me. I love the challenge. So let me ask you though, are there no like rare earth minerals or any type of anything of value on the moon? I mean, what you're saying makes tremendous sense. If it's about the money and there's no money, then why do it? But are there no, or do we just not know?
So a couple of things. The biggest payload we ever brought back from the moon were so-called moon rocks to study and look for those minerals. And yes, absolutely nothing of value was brought back. In fact, the later Apollo missions, that was their main focus, was to survey the moon and bring back rocks. It was basically one geological survey after the other to try to look for something of value, and there is nothing up there. And yes, Nathan, there are no rare earth minerals on the moon. The only place where rare earth minerals are on the Earth.
Well, I was hoping to make a little moon rock garden. I could bring some back.
Okay.
Well, you can go out to that, what is it called, the garden path or the garden stone out on 28, and you can make all the rock gardens you want and support a local business. But there's nothing from the moon that brings any value. Nothing.
I got to admit, when you said there's no rare earth minerals on the moon, I feel like I walked into that one like not even blindfolded. That was just dumb.
Yeah, that happened. I didn't even listen to it. You're good.
Well,
you didn't even listen to me, did you?
No, I did. I didn't hear it.
Well, we all do dumb things, Nathan. And the good thing is we're human beings, and we can admit when we do dumb things and try to learn from them. So I would like to say that I've never done anything dumb, but, you know, the day is young. I got time. I can still do dumb.
Well, I'm well known around my church as the guy who confesses everything. I admit when I make mistakes, which means I'm confessing a lot. So, yeah, I'm rare earth on the moon. That was an insightful comment. That will definitely not
made of cheese. Would you eat it?
Oh my, get out of town. All right.
You know, the moon has always fascinated us, and I understand the people wanting this space travel and like there's something out there. We grew up in Star Trek and Star Wars and all this kind of stuff, but in reality, we don't have the propulsion system, the energy transference to put the energy up there. We still are using solid rocket fuel, which is impossible to get that much fuel up to escape anywhere out into the further reaches of the galaxy, or boldly go where no man has gone before. It's still in the fantasy. And so we're doing stuff that is bringing us absolutely no value. Like I said, except for those, like you said, the makers of those beautiful orange jumpsuits, which I'm sure that Trump picked out the color.
Well, I'd love to know the origin of that color, because it is in many movies. They use that a lot. So I don't know if it's just because...
Well, space is dark. You want to get lost.
But why wouldn't you use like fluorescent line, you know?
I don't know. That's why they have blinkers on in case you get...
There's a great book called We 7. And it was written by the original 7 astronauts, and it goes through all their training and who's going to go first, which everybody thinks Scott Glenn went first. He didn't. Carpenter was the first guy to actually go into space. But anyway, that aside, one of the things they did is they did consult fashion designers, both the uniforms and the way the astronauts would dress. So, like all actors, astronauts had a costuming department.
Well, I did Google it, and the Google answer is orange spacesuits are bright orange to ensure maximum visibility for search and rescue teams. The high visibility color makes it easy to spot them against the blue ocean or dark landscape during launch and re-entry emergencies. So there's the official AI answer, or as Al would say, the Al answer.
Yeah, Google's never wrong. I feel like we can use it.
Well, that was their source was the New York Times, and you know they've never been wrong either.
Exactly.
I appreciate your call this morning. Thanks for lightening our load a little bit and giving me a little education. We'll be back.
You're welcome.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Sea of green this morning on the Bloomberg stock screens. After that massive rally yesterday on signs the Mideast war could end soon. Meantime, new reports today show surprising strength in the job market in March and a jump in retail sales in February. Crude oil futures tumbling today. But on the downside, Mortgage Bankers Association says mortgage rates have marched to a 7-month high, 6.57% on a 30-year fixed. Hershey changing the recipe in some Reese's and Hershey's products, using classic milk and dark chocolate recipes now after the grandson of the founder of the Peanut Butter Cup accused Hershey of cutting corners. In tech, Anthropic inadvertently released source code for its Claude AI agent due to a release packaging issue caused by human error. And Calvin Klein says spring sales have jumped thanks in part to the wildly popular series Love Story about John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, who famously at one point worked for Calvin Klein. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Louisiana forests once fueled our economy. Your granddad logged these woods. So did your dad. And now, Beaver Lake Renewable Energy is keeping that legacy alive, turning thinnings and wood byproducts into clean fuel. Right here in Pineville. It means more jobs, stronger forests, and a future that honors where Central Louisiana came from. Be part of Louisiana's next chapter. Visit BeaverLakeRenewable.com and find out how we're putting Central Louisiana back on the map.
Some smiles sound like this, while others sound this way. If you'd like to improve the way your smile sounds, the folks over at Today's Dental in Pineville can deliver. Over the years, hundreds of Central Louisiana patients have visited Today's Dental and then left completely satisfied. Their dental implant procedure is amazingly simple, low anxiety, and completely affordable. Today's technology makes your beautiful smile easier than ever. The staff at Today's Dental go out of their way to make you comfortable with calming in-office IV sedation that's administered by a highly skilled certified nurse anesthetist. And their multiple finance options make the entire procedure truly affordable. Want your smile to sound better? Give Today's Dental a call at 318-448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. That's 318-448-4540. Good morning. Possibly some fog again to start us out this morning. That'll burn off quickly. Going to start out with some clouds gradually becoming sunny. Now afternoon highs about 87. Going to be a windy day as well. Winds gusting as high as 20 out of the south. And we could see an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, about a 30% chance of that. Increasing clouds tonight down to 67, then a 60% chance of afternoon showers on Thursday. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL. Now back to Talk Back.
I have sad news to report. Very sad news this morning. Bluebell is in the building, and they have not come to our studio yet.
Well, I talked to them a minute ago when I was getting some coffee, and it's their new flavor called Brookie. You know what a Brookie is?
I have
like
no
a brownie cookie.
What?
Brookie a la mode.
Go!
And so...
Okay, so I have to confess that me and Dairy Queen have a little thing on the side. I'll slip away every now and then. I'll get their brownie extreme.
Oh, it's so good.
It's not the best. If you get the royal that's filled with hot fudge in the middle, I can't get that too often because it's too decadent. But
I like the chocolate extreme. Just chocolate ice cream. Yeah. Is that the same thing?
But it has
everything chocolate.
Everything chocolate. It has little brownie bites in there. They take the dip cone, they pour it in there and it hardens right away. Oh yeah, the chocolate extreme. But if you get a chocolate brownie, I think it's the same thing. Maybe it's not, but oh my goodness.
I can't have too much chocolate right now, but that sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Well, my dilemma, I have a coupon that I haven't redeemed yet for my birthday from Dairy Queen. So I'm going to go get me that before the month is out because I have 30 days to redeem my free birthday Blizzard.
I don't know how I'm not gaining much weight because I was going to, go every day and sometimes twice a day to a snow cone stand. And I get ice cream flavored snow cones, like the yellow one, stuffed with ice cream with cream on top. It's just fantastic. I was in Super Cones because Super Cones is the closest one to my house. And so I went there.
How is their ice so much better than everybody else's? It's like smooth silk ice.
I think they're all good in their own way.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I like everyone's differently. But they dump it full of syrup too at Super Cone.
Maybe that's what it is.
But I went there like at noon. I was waiting on something to happen, so I was like, let's get them. So, and then I went back with my family later. I didn't tell my family I went earlier because my wife is starting to judge me. I just get obsessed with snow cones.
It's bad when you're sneaking snow cones or sneaking blizzards.
I'm like, it's a cheap snack though. It's like $3 or $4.
Yeah, it's really not bad if you don't mind the line. So, had a text from one of our listeners, kind of pushing back on our last caller. Saying that the South was not chosen because of economic payback. Well, they didn't say it that way. They said people move to Florida when they retire because the weather is better. Same for rocket launches. What? That does make sense.
Have you ever heard of hurricanes?
Yeah, but you don't launch rockets during hurricanes, do you?
I don't know what they do. Exactly. It just gets in the way.
His point was that space exploration has yielded countless benefits and economic benefits. And I agree. I mean, much of our technology that I think we have enjoyed has come from space exploration, not necessarily the moon itself, but space exploration in general. Where would we be without GPS?
See, I don't know much about space anyway. Exactly. It'd make my job a lot harder.
I set you up. Okay, go ahead.
Lost in space.
No, just lost, period. So you don't know much about space. What'd you say?
I just don't care. The only thing I care about space is the new Star Wars coming out in theaters next month. It's going to be a great event. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to have a viewing party if y'all want to go.
The countdown is on.
Mandalorian and Grogu coming out in May.
I think I need you to give me a breakdown because I I guess I liked the first three, and after that, I never went back and really enjoyed the rest of them because, of course, first they were released out of order. I didn't like some of the characters were just stupid.
Well, I can give you the quick rundown. So the first three came out that you like, 4, 5, and 6. Then 20 years later, 1, 2, and 3 came out, which was called the prequels. That's what I grew up on, so I like them. I look back at them now, I'm like, yeah, they're kind of silly, but it's a movie. It's fun. And then they waited 15 more years and did 7, 8, 9. 7 was great. 8 was just storytelling from the pits of the underworld. And then they had to rush 9, so it just made no sense. So they were okay. 7 was good. It kind of went back to the original ones.
So you're hoping 10 redeems the whole thing?
Well, this isn't 10. So between those, they had the animated series called Clone Wars that came out that was between 1 and 2, which everyone loved, ran for like 8 seasons, came back a few years later. But Mandalorian and Grogu was the first Disney Plus Star Wars show after Disney bought Star Wars from Lucasfilm. And so it's basically based after 6 and before 7. So it's in that gap right there. And it focuses on a Mandalorian, which is, remember Boba Fett? You know who Boba Fett is?
do, yeah.
So he's this warrior bounty hunter type. And he befriends a Yoda-like creature, and they go on adventures. So they're making a movie out of it. Very popular
Are there
show.
more than one Yoda?
So whatever species Yoda is, there's only 2 characters that we know of. And then so when Yoda and then Yaddle, who is like a random character woman on the side. But this is Grogu, who's the baby Yoda species, is what we believe.
We believe, okay.
I could keep going if you want.
Well,
Everyone's going to get mad at me.
So let me ask this, though. I'm simplistic. Was Luke Skywalker a good guy?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
But was Darth Vader, are they trying to say he was a good guy, too?
Darth Vader was a good guy, and then he became a bad guy. And then he might have had like a before-death redemption. He did have a before-death redemption by saving his son from death, from the Emperor. He sacrificed himself at the end.
Did he say, "I am your father"?
No, he goes, it wasn't "I am your father."
Your father, I am?
No.
Like Yoda would be. Yeah.
I'm trying to get the exact one.
Yeah, well, it's just
a
misnomer. We have this classic consciousness that he said, "I am Luke, I am your father," and yet supposedly that's a Mandalorian effect.
So he goes, "No, I am your father."
No, so he didn't say, "Luke, I am your father." He said, "No, I am your father." What's it called when we have this collective consciousness of something that turns out to be wrong? Like Berenstain?
Mandela?
Is it called the Mandela effect?
Isn't it? Am I getting confused?
Well, but
thank goodness for
I think it's called the Mandela effect.
Where large groups of people share a vivid but incorrect memory.
Yeah, so forever we always thought he said, "Luke, I am your father," but you're saying he said, "No, I am your father."
Yes.
Or how could that have come? Well, probably it comes from like Saturday Night Live or something like that. They do some spoof, and then everybody believes the spoof.
Could be, yeah. And just, oh no, so that's the point where Darth Vader redeemed himself at the end there. So, nice little message for you.
Okay. Well, I would really like to figure that out. And
you should get on the Star Wars.
I have not. I don't think I've seen the last 2 at all.
So you've seen 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3?
I think so. Yeah.
And 7?
I think. What's the one with the guy with the long tentacle things when he walks around and he's a dumb-looking, goofus character?
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. He turned me off. It's like,
well, he turned a lot of people off.
Okay.
So you had 4, 5, and 6, and then when they came out with number 1 20 years later, because George Lucas was waiting for the special effects to catch up with his ideas, they created that character. Kids loved it, and then adults it just became kind of like a spoof at the end of the day, and a lot of the adults who grew up with Star Wars were kind of upset about it.
So I just made the mistake of typing in Mandalorian effect instead of Mandela effect.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, it's a thing. The Mandalorian effect is a specific instance of the Mandela effect, a shared false memory where people mistakenly believe that Boba Fett and Jango Fett were Mandalorians when they are not.
They were clones.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jango Fett was, you want me to get into that?
No,
Jango Fett was a clone. And then he had a son, clone son.
Clones can have children.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they wore Mandalorian garb almost. It was kind of like, it was clone garb, but it was more, I'll stop. Mandalorians are from the planet Mandalore.
Okay.
And they're very like warrior, jingoistic type, bellicose.
Okay.
Like Spartans.
Well, the Spartans are cool.
And they would always fight with the Jedi. And so you can see, and so the whole thing with the little
Jedi
baby
were
Yoda,
good, though, right?
Well, it depends on your point of perspective.
Is the Empire good?
Depends on your point of perspective.
If I like Luke,
you like the Jedi.
I like the Jedi. But the Jedi weren't always good if you like the Empire. The Empire. So
well, some Jedi turned bad.
Is there a political message?
That's all it is. Yeah, yeah. No, not like a political message, but it's like the rebels who were the Jedi fighting against the evil Empire. But 1, 2, 3 in the prequels, the Jedi were the most powerful.
We have just put everybody to sleep, I believe, except for
there might be like a few millennials out there, or some. I know there's some Star Wars fans out there.
Very good. Well, let's take a break, and we'll come back and
get some coffee.
See if you can reset me on something that I can know the truth about. Like, did Curious George have a tail? We'll be back.
Talk about Lord of the Rings then.
Oh my goodness.
KSYL.
I'm Blake Miguez, and I approve this message. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm Blake Miguez. I'm a 7th-generation Louisianian. My family has been part of this state for centuries, built businesses, raised families, and lived by the values that make Louisiana, Louisiana. Conservative groups rated me the most conservative candidate in Louisiana's 5th congressional race. And President Trump gave my campaign his complete and total endorsement, calling me a MAGA warrior, because when he needs someone in Washington who will fight hard, he knows he can count on me. President Trump has counted on me. Louisiana has counted on me. I won't let either one down. I'm Blake Miguez, Trump's MAGA warrior. I'm ready for this fight, and I'm asking for your vote.
Paid for by Miguez for Louisiana.
That's right, Alexandria. Ready for the biggest crawfish boil in Cenla? Saturday, April 11th at Spirits, we're bringing the heat with live music from Alligator Blue, delicious crawfish from Hothead, and specialty brews from Huckleberry Brewing. Tickets are selling fast. $50 gets you 4 pounds of mud bugs and all the fixins. Or grab a $20 general admission ticket and come soak up the fun. Things kick off at 3 this Saturday at Spirits on Texas Avenue. Get tickets now at spiritsublot.com and get ready for a weekend of mud bugs and music.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL. Now back to Talk Back.
All right, welcome back to Talk Back. Steve's got a fresh cup of coffee, and I want to give a fresh shout out to LSUA General E.J. McQuillan, who received a really pretty significant honor. He was named a second-team NAIA All-American. So that congratulations goes out to junior guard E.J. McQuillan. He's been named the All-American team, averaging 20 points per game this season in a very tough Red River Athletic Conference, guiding the Generals to another NAIA tournament appearance. He shot 40% from the field, 38%, almost 39% from three-point range, and he had a team-high 78 assists, 36 steals, and 4 blocks. At least 2 different times this season, he recorded over 40 points per game, and he tied the LSUA single game points record with 41 back on Halloween night against Texas Wesleyan. He put up 40 points against Texas A&M, Texarkana on December 13th. So congratulations to E.J. McQuillan, a Port Allen product who played for the coach there, who came on to coach Demario Jackson, who now is the LSUA coach. So he played for him in high school, played for him in college. He was a first-team All-Red River Athletic Conference and just doing a great job. And the good news is he's only a junior, so he comes back next year. Big shout-out to EJ, and happy news there on the LSUA campus. I'm sure Chancellor Paul Carell is cheering that on, although I can't get over the fact that Paul Carell is resigning. I mean, retiring just blows me away that he will not be leading our Generals after this year.
Yeah, we have a change at LCU recently, and then CLTCC, and now LSUA. So
everything's changing.
All changes. over time.
Well, that is part of life, is change, but nevertheless, you do what you can, you roll with the punches. By the way, speaking of change, one of the changes that Rapides Parish School Board system's having to deal with is the continued decline in enrollments. There's been a statewide decline for the last decade or so, which basically you can recognize our population loss, and there are fewer school-age children, but also there's a huge boom in homeschooling. So you have the combination of fewer kids and more of them homeschooling. That means that public school enrollment is down about 5%.
What about private schools? Are a lot of them going there?
I have a feeling they are doing pretty well. I would think so. I just a guess, though, but I know homeschooling has exploded. Rapides is down about 3%, and that's a concern because funding is based on population, right? The Minimum Foundation Program, MFP formula, says that the expected count is 20,090 compared to 20,432, so a loss of about 300 students there, and you get about $4,000 per student. So that's $400,000 for every 100 kids you're down. So you're looking at well over $1 million in lost revenue, and so they're actually, the school board or the staff is recommending that they hire 50 fewer teachers for this coming year than for the current year. And that would be, make it a little bit easier on principals because you don't have to fill quite as many slots. But the concern there still becomes, where do you find qualified teachers? As you still have retirements. Of course, you have LSUA, LCU, Northwestern continuing to graduate a fresh batch of teachers every year, doing a great job of that. Interestingly, the number of paraprofessionals is expected to grow from 410 to 424. So a slight increase there in those paraprofessionals in school assistants to the teachers. And all that data is coming to us from a Jim Butler article over on the RapideSParishJournal.com. Appreciate his continued insights.
They do a good job over there.
Yeah, they definitely keep their finger on the pulse of Central Louisiana.
We need a newspaper of some sort, because there's certain things that I do and certain things a TV station does that we just don't do that newspapers can do. And so I think that's an amazing thing if you could support them as well.
I still subscribe to the Town Talk. I don't get the mailed version, but I get the electronic version. I find that to be useful. I like it because when I click on, there's no paywall for me because all I got to do is sign in and get to see the full story. And I recommend people do that because if you don't support the Town Talk, then that's going to go by the wayside. And I think that there is room for multiple sources. So I would encourage people to continue, if they can, supporting. Definitely like and share their comments on Facebook.
But mostly me.
But yeah, Stephen Maxwell, of course, above all.
Hey, if you're listening out there, I could use your help. If you don't follow me on Facebook, I'd love it if you did right now because I'm close to 50K. I'm about 30 away, so I need 30 followers.
Does anything happen if you get...
No, it's just like
just a nice milestone.
Keeps me going, I guess, 50,000. So we've gained like almost 30 since I've been here in the 8-9 months.
Almost 30,000? Mm-hmm. Really? Way to go, man. That's a nice shot.
And our TikTok, which we started from scratch, is almost at 10,000. So.
Well, I guess I need to follow you on TikTok. I don't even log in.
It's Sinlaw Broadcasting.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
We started from scratch and post just the news updates there, and it's getting close. Might be. We'll have to check.
Is Bluebell still out in the lobby?
I didn't see him.
Oh.
There you can get some. They left some behind.
Well, good. Well, we were talking about Bluebell. We're talking about Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen does have a 99-cent Blizzard deal. I think it's buy one, get one for 99 cents, something like that. So, yeah, that's what it is. Buy one, get one for 99 cents. And I think that's through this month. So that's always a fun treat. I was trying to see.
I do like that.
It may not be the whole month, but you might want to check with them about that. Very, very nice little treat there. What was funny was we went to my birthday lunch on Monday, went to one of my favorite places, Yucatan Restaurant in Pineville. And as we're wrapping up, my little 8-year-old granddaughter who's sitting next to me says, Papa, should we go get ice cream for dessert? And I'm like, do you think we should? And she said, I think we should. And I said, where do you want to go? She said, can we go to Dairy Queen? So guess what? The whole Martin clan left after having my nice free ice cream that they gave me at Yucatan. I was very appreciative of that, and even put a little dab on my nose, as they do. Have you seen that custom in Mexican restaurants?
Do what?
You haven't seen that custom? The birthday person, they'll bring out a sopapilla or fried ice cream or something, and then they'll take the spoon and put just a little dab on your nose.
Really?
Yeah, you haven't seen that?
No.
Okay. Well, that's in honor of the mordida, which is the custom that the celebrant has to take a bite out of their cake, and generally someone will smash their face into it. Don't tell me why that started, but that's a Mexican thing. And so after getting my obligatory ice cream on the nose, we packed up, headed down to Dairy Queen, and had such a blast enjoying ourselves there. So fun summer times in Central Louisiana. Stick around. The final segment's coming up. Your call is still welcome. 318-442-8255, the Be On Talk line. Back with the final segment after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with The Clinics. We provide primary, family, and chronic care along with gastroenterology, podiatry, with on-site lab and x-ray services. I'm pleased to welcome family physician Dr. Noah Miller to our team. We are currently accepting new patients, and same-day appointments are available. If you're admitted into the hospital, our doctors will see you there as well. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The Clinics on North Bolton, 445-9823, and online at theclinics.us.
Tired of noisy neighbors? Want to keep pets in and problems out? Sounds like you need a Promo fence. At Promo Fencing and Lawn Care, our fences don't just work, they wow. From classic cedar and pine privacy fences to durable chain link, sleek metal, and aluminum, even decorative fencing. We've got something for every home, yard, or business, big or small, residential or commercial, all with free estimates, expert installs, and small town customer care. Promo Fencing and Lawn Care, fences that feel like home.
Golfers, business owners, everyone. It's the 2026 Manor House Pro-Am Golf Tournament, followed by the Annika Women's All-Pro Tour, sponsored by Coca-Cola Dr. Pepper, benefiting the Manor House, April 15th through 18th at Links on the Bayou. Golfers, your 3-person team will play with a pro on Wednesday. Don't golf? Then come watch, make a donation, or become a sponsor. Contact the Manor House for details. The Manor House Pro-Am Golf Tournament starts April 15th at Links on the Bayou.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
Welcome back to Talkback as we begin Passover this week. A lot of families are observing this multi-day holiday with special dinners and specific foods. Have you ever participated in a Passover Seder, Stephen?
I think I did one time with some family members. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had that a few times at our church where we've had like a group called Jews for Jesus, or some Messianic Christians who still hold to the Jewish traditions have brought in basically the entire meal and had us celebrate and understand. Of course, so much of what is modern day Passover has developed since the time of Christ. The time of Christ would have been a much simpler meal, although there were still certain blessings that were given at certain times. And that's where we understand Jesus lifting the cup and saying he would not drink the cup again. It's our understanding he drank the third cup of the Passover meal, but did not drink the fourth cup. Mm-hmm. That's where the bread comes from. And it is where, many understand the significance of you can't have Easter without Passover. Mm-hmm. There is no resurrection without a Passover lamb or a sacrifice being made. And so this year Passover runs concurrently with the Holy Week, which doesn't happen every single year, but to all of our friends who are celebrating Passover, whether you're Christian or Jewish, the congratulations go out to you. And of course, in my heart, I'm celebrating it as well. The Christians believe Christ is our Passover, but there's still very great value in looking back at that plague that God sent as the ultimate, I guess you would call it, judgment on Egypt after 9 other plagues didn't change Pharaoh's heart. The death angel passed over the homes that had the blood of the lamb spread on the doorposts. And so that prefigures Christian salvation. And there's some great lessons in there about cleaning your house out of leaven, getting rid of all the impure things of your life. There's some great renewals in there. Mm-hmm. And so, congratulations. And if you're doing that, let it be meaningful. Don't let it be repetitive and obligatory. So the hard thing about Passover sometimes was eating that sour herb and that salt water that represented the tears and the harsh labor, but it wasn't, every one of those symbols was meaningful. And there is going to be, let me see if I can find it. I received yesterday an email with the upcoming Holocaust memorial that's coming up. Let me see here. I know I just received the email yesterday. I believe it's coming up in April, a little bit later this month. Holocaust Memorial will take place in Alexandria on April the 13th.
By Rapides?
Yeah, so it will start there. Typically, it starts at the Memorial Park where the Holocaust Monument is, there at the intersection of Elliott and 4th Street, right by Rapides Hospital. And then they walk down to Emmanuel Baptist Church. And so at 6 o'clock is the short service at the Memorial Park, and then 6:30 the full service at Emmanuel Baptist. This year they'll have Adina Berenstain, who wrote From Memory to Justice, a granddaughter's story in the fight for stolen legacies. They'll also have the choirs from Ash and Pineville High School. This is free and open to the public, so you'll want to keep your eyes open for that coming up on April the 13th, just a couple of weeks away from now.
Emmanuel is a beautiful church.
It really is. And a lot of great legacy, a lot of history there. So 13th is going to be on a Monday night. Hopefully it will be something that folks can participate in and be a part of. This is commemorating Yom HaShoah, which the day of, I'm trying to remember, that is
They also
Day
have
of
the prayer
Remembrance, I
service
think it is. Huh?
today. Are you going at the Pineville flagpole?
No, who's doing that?
Children's Advocacy.
Oh, I forget. That's always on April 1st. I didn't get a notice about that. I've actually offered the prayer there many times, but man, I forget, and I didn't have it on my calendar.
Today.
Typically, it is at noon. Children's Advocacy Network does that. I'm glad you reminded me of that. That's a great event to go to because
Judge Beaver will be the speaker.
The month of April is recognized as a month that the Children's Advocacy Network pays attention to and speaking up for those who need someone to speak up for.
Yeah, it's a great thing. And make it out to
Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that reminder. Well, folks, that wraps up our show today. Tomorrow, Steve and I will be back for the final show of the week. Al continues to enjoy his little vacation, and we hope that you're enjoying Talk Back with us. Give us a call tomorrow morning. Chat with us. We'll may have a guest or two with us tomorrow. We're still working out the details of that.
Do we have any guests scheduled for tomorrow?
Nothing's on the calendar.
All right, so we'll have Gabe Furman tomorrow at 8:05.
There you go. Very good. All right, well, come back tomorrow morning and join us for that. We'll see you then, everybody. Until then, be safe. Enjoy your day.